Your faith has made you well. These words we hear on the 28th Sunday in ordinary time. To be well, to be healed, we all desire it. And truly, we all need healing. We so easily get wounded, either through our own careless actions, through those of others, and even through natural or human-made disasters, as we experience in the form of climate change and its weather extremes. As a result, people are crying out, but also the earth is crying out. And so we have the cry of the poor, the cry of the sick, and the cry of the earth. If all these are crying out to God, you wonder, is God deaf? Does he not hear? Not in the least. How can God be unaware of your slightest sigh? He who has counted every hair on your head and knows when a sparrow falls to the ground. The truth is, God wants us to be fully alive. St. Irenaeus put it in these words: the glory of God is man fully alive. By any means, God manifests this truth. In the past, by speaking through prophets, as we have it in today's first reading. Through the word of Elisha, the man of God. And in our time, the final days, God speaks in the person of his Son, who is the reflection of God's glory, as we read it in the letter to the Hebrews. Note the importance of God speaking. God creates through his word and recreates again through his word made flesh. This recreation became necessary through the fall of man, which indeed made us weak, prone to sickness, causing the cry of the sick, and prone to misuse of powers, causing the cry of the earth. But then the one sitting on the throne speaks. Look, I'm making the whole of creation new. Write this. What I'm saying is trustworthy, and it will come true. Indeed, it is your faith in this word, in the word made flesh, that makes you new, restored like the flesh of a little child, as it was for Naaman and the lepers. Among the greatest danger of a deep crisis, whether health-wise or climate-wise, is the loss of hope and the inaction that follows. We see this happening with Naaman. Surely the rivers of Damascus are better than any water in Israel? And Naaman turned round and went off in a rage. Indeed, Naaman had lost hope after being told to bathe in the river Jordan and was ready to go home. This response of Naaman shows a deep loss of faith, a withdrawal from the life of God. A similar reaction we notice with the people who still think that we humans have no hand in the current climate crisis and the warming up of the earth. They shake their shoulders and go home to continue the way they used to go about life. Again, inaction in the face of the climate crisis. But then the servants approached Naaman. Father, if the prophet had asked you to do something difficult, would you not have done it? All the more reason then to act when the prophet says to you, bath and you will become clean. And Naaman went down to the river and bathed and became clean. Who are the servants in this our climate crisis, facing those who deny any hand in it? It is nobody else than the young girl Greta Thunberg. One day she decided not to go to school, but starting a strike for the climate outside the Swedish parliament. Her actions ended up sparking a global movement for action against the climate crisis, inspiring millions of people who want us to act as if our house is on fire, because it is. If we do not limit the warming up of the earth through our emissions, we will reach a tipping point where we start a chain reaction with events way beyond human control. And it is already becoming clear that we in Africa, who have contributed the least to this crisis, are the ones who are going to be affected the most. But there is hope. We can still fix the crisis. But the opportunity to do so will not last for long. We must start today. We have no more excuses. When your health is very bad, you treat it as a health crisis. Likewise, treat the climate crisis as a crisis, and the way to healing is opened. No more resistance to the words of the prophet Elisha. No more resistance to the words of the servants. No more resistance to the words of Greta Thunberg. And no more resistance to the words of Jesus. And as the lepers went, they were cleansed. Truly, their faith made them well. Are you going through a health crisis right now? Mind, your faith will make you well. Do you accept the climate crisis as a crisis? Your faith will set you to heal the earth. And then gratitude. The cleansed Samaritan praised God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. When was the last time that you fell down at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks? Surely the cure for asking is far longer than the cure for thanking. But make sure you are in the line for thanking Jesus. You do not know how many times the Lord has already saved you and healed you. He cares for you every minute of your life. And Naaman asked to be given 2 mules burden of earth to be carried from Israel to Syria. For the cured Naaman, the ground had become holy ground. And surely this ground was not polluted. No chemical or oil pollution. No plastic sachets of ice water. No plastic bottles or bags. May this inspire you to act decisively and with urgency to the cry of the earth. Have the faith that the Lord wants to clean and to heal the earth. Even more so, he wants to renew it, but through your hands and feet, through your faith. Your faith will make you well. Your faith will save the earth.